Okay, so we're nearing the end and we're almost ready to launch our site. So what we need to do is now that we've installed our Secure Pages module on our development environment, we need to get that up to our production environment or live environment. So to see that, we can go back to our dev, and underneath the coding section, you'll notice that there's been files changed. It says 8 files have been added, and we click in there and we see that they're all encompassed within the Secure Pages module. So we're going to add a message that says add Secure Pages module, and we're going to commit that. So we're committing that to our test environment, or the middle one.
Well, this will actually commit the code to dev, and then once that's done, now we can actually pull it into the test environment.
Yeah, excuse me. Yep. So committing and pulling we should clear that up. Committing is just basically getting it ready to be pulled. So now that it's committed up, we can pull from dev to test.
And this is a pretty simple process. It says the one commit is ready to deploy. We could put a log message if we want. We do want to keep these 2 checkboxes checked. And if you wanted to pull your files and database from the live environment to give you a more accurate test, you could check that as well. But we're not going to do that this time. We're just going to click deploy code. So this is taking, and basically the only thing it's doing is pulling the changes, which was that one Secure Pages module. And it will allow that to show up on our actual test environment. And there it is. That's a pretty quick process in this case, and it's already completed. So you can see if we go to the code, it should say that we have added the Secure Pages module. It still looks like it's still deploying the code, so it might take another second here. And it says the commit has been added, and it also says right here, you can't really read it, but it says one commit is ready to pull into live. So if we go to the live site and we go into the deploys section, it allows us to deploy our code from testing. But before we do that, let's actually visit the live site and let's look to make sure our SSL is set up and working, and then we will look to ensure that the Secure Pages module isn't there yet. We'll run this and then you'll show that it actually shows up.
So we go to our store.
And you'll notice when you click on Visit Live Site, it brings you to this Pantheon URL. If we go into our domains in SSL, you'll notice that it shows that this is one of our domains, but we can also go to our store.codekarate.com domain. So let's go ahead and verify that our DNS is working. So we're just going to type that in, store.codekarate.com. And we should get to the same thing, and we do.
So to verify that our secure our SSL is working, we can type in https:// and hit enter. And once it loads here, you'll see that in Google Chrome, for example, it's going to show you a green lock, and obviously it says HTTPS. So it looks like it is set up and working.
And so we're going to go ahead and log in just to show that that Secure Pages module is not there yet.
So when we log in here, we're going to go under our site settings and modules. And we're going to just verify again, Secure Pages is not on the production or live site. And we see that it's not showing up. So what we're going to do is head back to Pantheon and to the Deploy tab. And then we're going to deploy the code from testing. So basically bring what's on testing or the changes up to live. So once this runs and deploys, we should be able to go back to our live site, refresh that modules page, and then be able to find the Secure Pages module. Depending on how big, of course, your pushes and pulls are, this will take longer. This isn't too big, so it shouldn't take too much longer to pull through.
And once we get it to this point and we turn on the Secure Pages module, your site is live and ready to start selling. So now you can use your marketing plans that you've set up and start promoting and selling your products. Okay, so we'll click on code and just make sure that it's there. So added Secure Pages module, so it should be there. So if we refresh this page, and we come back and try to find the Secure Pages module, it should show up and we should be able to turn it on. And there it is.
So we're going to go ahead and enable that. And then we're going to set up some configuration on that, and then that should be everything we need to do to have a fully functional e-commerce website.
So we'll let this go ahead and turn the module on. And there we go. And then it says Secure Pages needs to be enabled. So we're going to click this link, and this should bring us to the settings page. And now it says, do we want to enable Secure Pages? And the important thing is we made sure we tested that the HTTPS version of the site was working first. Make sure you do that. And as you can see, it shows we are on the HTTPS version right now. Make sure you can get there, or other bad things can happen when you turn this on. And here you can say, what's the non-secure base URL? This is just going to be store.codekarate.com. I believe that should work. And you can say make secure only the listed pages, or you can make secure every page except the listed pages. And so what we want to do is we want to go ahead and make secure every page, and we want to go ahead and delete all of these pages because this will just make every page secure. So make secure every page except the listed pages, and so it's going to go ahead and make secure every single page. And then we are going to go ahead and save configuration. And now if we close out, you can see we are on the HTTPS version. Let's go ahead and just go to store.codekarate.com. It should take us to the HTTPS version. And if we click on any links, it should keep us at HTTPS the whole time, no matter what. We can log out, it should keep us HTTPS. And there should, basically, no matter what you do on your site, you're using a secure SSL, no matter where you're browsing on your site. And really, that's all there is to it.
Yeah, that's it. So that, play around, I mean, poke around. You might want to run a few tests on your products just to make sure everything's working. But again, these are going to be live. This site is live, so check that out. Check your site out.
And one more thing before we forget, since you are live, the last step is, of course, and we almost forgot it ourselves, so make sure you don't, is to turn your payment method on to the live version. So come over to PayPal WPS, and you'll want to edit that. Under Enable Payment Method, you're going to come into there, and you're going to select the PayPal server, select Live. So that is one thing, and there's also a few other things we're going to walk you through that you can do and you should do when you're ready to go live. So now that you have your PayPal working, it's going to actually charge someone its actual account versus just using a sandbox account. If we go to Site Settings Configuration, we can perform a few optimizations on your live site. So if you go down into the Performance section, you remember there was this Clear All Caches button. We're going to want to cache pages for anonymous users. We're not going to select cache blocks because sometimes the cart block might get cached. We don't want to worry about that, but you could try that if you want, but you might run into some issues, so I would suggest leaving that unchecked. And you're going to want to check these two boxes here.
Basically what these are doing is they're just basically taking CSS and JavaScript files, which you never exactly touch, but just making them slimmer so they load faster. Just helps on page load times and things like that. And also caching, and we did mention it before, but again, caching is kind of like keeping a record of the site for the user. So when you cache pages for anonymous users, it just helps load, just saves basically their history kind of, and makes their page load a little faster next time they come to your site.
So really, that's all there is to it.
We think so this time.
I think we got it all. So your site is live.
You don't need to do this on your testing and development sites. You only need to set those configurations on the production or live site.
And in fact, on your on your development site, you definitely don't want to do it because you want to click the clear caches button as often when you're actually adding new features. So you want to leave that as is, but make sure you do go through these steps on your live site. That way you can actually start collecting money. It's going to perform a little faster for your users, and you can start bringing in and selling those products.